Hi, welcome to Bookey, which unlock big ideas from world bestsellers in audio, text, and mind map. Please download Bookey at Apple Store or Google Play with more features. Get your free mind snack now. Today we will unlock the book Educated, a memoir. In the mountains of Idaho, there was a family, a couple with their 7 children, all of which were born at home, several of which who didn't even have a birth certificate. The kids never went to school, neither did they see a doctor regardless of if they fell sick or were injured. The author and protagonist of this book, Tara Westover, was the smallest of the 7 kids. Her father ran a junkyard where Tara spent her entire childhood. There were no sounds of learning. Only the rumble of the crane. Tara didn't set foot in a school before the age of 17. Instead, she spent her days in fear, dreading the violence her brother Shawn might inflict on her at any moment. After growing up in such a toxic environment, Tara found an escape at Brigham Young University, where she enrolled as a homeschooler. She received her Bachelor of Arts degree in 2008. Subsequently, she was admitted into Cambridge, where she earned a Master of Philosophy in 2009 and a Ph.D. from Harvard in History in 2014. Educated, a memoir will tell you how Tara broke free from the confinement of her family and changed her life. In this memoir, Tara Westover recounts in first person how she grew up and how she pursued learning. It shows us how education can provide infinite possibilities. Published in 2018, this is Westover's first book, but it has been hugely successful ever since its debut. The book soon became #1 on almost every major bestseller list in the US, and Westover herself was listed among Time's most influential people of 2018. Bill Gates highly recommended this book, saying she got me to reflect on my own life while reading about her extreme childhood, an amazing story and truly inspiring. It's even better than you've heard. Next, we'll introduce the major content of this book through 3 parts. Together, let's see how Tara broke free from her family, reshaped herself through education, and eventually changed her fate. Part 1: Tara's turbulent life before education. Part 2: Receiving education and fighting her old beliefs. Part 3: Reshaping herself with advanced education. Tara's father was a devoted Mormon who believed wholeheartedly in God. He believed that Armageddon, the days of abomination, the end of world was coming soon, and he warned the entire family to be ready for its arrival. Every time the end didn't come, he became depressed and upset. Her father was a religious zealot. He thought that public schools were a ploy by the government to lead children away from God. To him, sending kids to school was the same as turning them over to the devil. Therefore, Tara and her older brothers and sisters were not allowed to go to school. Their mother homeschooled them with very basic knowledge. Tara's father also believed that all pain and suffering was God's will, and that by going to the hospital they were betraying him. Therefore, the Westover family never saw a doctor. Tara's mother took care of all their illnesses and injuries. Once, they had a car accident during a trip. Everyone was injured, her mother even had brain damage. Still, no one went to the hospital. Her father thought all of their lives were in the hand of God and doctors couldn't really help. Another time, when Tara's brother Luke seriously burned his leg while working. Their father didn't take him to the hospital either. Instead, he cut away the dead flesh from Luke's leg at home, dressed the leg with some folk remedies and bandaged it. Tara's mother was a herbalist and midwife. Initially, she didn't share all of her husband's fanatical beliefs. But since the man had authority over his family, including his wife, she gradually assimilated and eventually became just as radical. After the family car accident, she became obsessed with making essential oils. She believed she could receive God's will and heal every sickness and injury with essential oils and magic. For kids who never went to school, their parents are their teachers. Tara's only view of the world was through her parents' eyes and what they told her. Her father's paranoid authoritarianism combined with a mother who enabled him resulted in an environment where Tara was completely brainwashed. Her grandmother once asked her, "How would you like to go to school?" And her answer was, "I wouldn't like it." The young Tara believed in everything her parents told her, even though they were twisted. She accepted everything that happened around her as normal since she had no other life experiences to tell her that it wasn't. Without her brother Tyler, Tara might have spent her entire life in the mountains under the control of her parents. But he quietly planted a seed of desire for education in Tara's heart which would set her free. Tyler was different from the other kids of the family. He was quiet and he loved to read. When the other kids were fighting with each other, he would just listen to the music by himself. Tyler had gone to school before. But just after 1 year of schooling, his father heard about the death of their neighbors the Weavers. He believed that the Weavers were murdered by the feds because they refused to send their kid to school. Since then, he had been adamant that schools were a government scam. This incident further aggravated his paranoia, making him hate schools even more. Therefore, he withdrew Tyler from school, never allowing him to attend again. Nevertheless, Tyler's imagination had been kindled. He didn't want to give up learning. One day, Tyler caught Tara flipping through his CD collection. He didn't blame Tara for touching his stuff. Instead, he asked her which one she felt like trying. Tyler put the CD in the player, and the music began. It was the first time that Tara ever listened to such an amazing melody. It was something completely different from the noise around the house or the rumble in the junkyard. Music became Tara and Tyler's common language. Though Tara was the same as always when she was with her other siblings, she became a different person when she was with Tyler. She learned to be peaceful and appreciate the music. There was something magical about Tyler, quietly drawing Tara toward civilization. Tara didn't understand it back then. She thought it was the magic of music or simply the magic of Tyler himself. But it was the allure of education. Such a boy as he was, Tyler was destined to leave the mountains. He loved his family and everyone in it, but he could clearly see that this family was abnormal and that his parents had been brainwashing them with twisted views about the world. He knew he must step outside the mountains and receive modern education to save himself from this downward spiral. Therefore, Tyler left home with just a few clothes, his books, and his CDs, leaving all his savings home. Though his father was furious and mocked him, Tyler didn't flinch or hesitate. So he went, free at last. Tara was just 10 at the time, so she didn't fully understand why her brother must leave. Nor could she envision what the world was like beyond the mountains. Nevertheless, Tyler's leaving left an impact on Tara. Burdened with the dull work in the junkyard, one thought persisted: I should go to school. This idea became clearer and stronger as time went by. Once curiosity was seeded, all it needed was time to grow. Tara's life wasn't easy after Tyler left. Her father's paranoia worsened. Though she was only a 10-year-old, Tara was tasked with very dangerous jobs in the junkyard. No matter how many times she was injured, her father still insisted that God and the angels would always protect him and his family from being hurt. Her father also became obsessed with Tara's modesty and purity. He didn't allow her to wear skirts or tights. And her shoulders were never to be exposed even during the sweltering days. Besides enduring abuse and neglect at the hands of her father, Tara also lived in constant fear of her older brother Shawn. Shawn had left home to work in the outside world at the age of 17 but was called back home by his father 6 years later to help support the family. Shawn was oppressive and violent. When Tara began to use mascara and lipsticks just like other teenage girls in town, Shawn screamed at her, calling his own little sister a whore. And when Tara refused to obey him, Shawn would immediately fly into a rage and beat her, even shoving her head into the toilet. Shawn became Tara's curse and a waking nightmare. She was terrified of him but couldn't run away. Under such stress, Tara felt her life was miserable and almost hopeless. If her life went on like this, she'd end up like her older sister Audrey. Married at 18, barefoot and pregnant on the farm, or a herbalist and midwife like her mother. Things took a slight turn for the better when Tara was 15. After 5 years of living elsewhere, Tyler appeared out of nowhere to save Tara from Shawn's violence. He took her aside and said, "It's time to go, Tara. The longer you stay, the less likely you will ever leave." Therefore, under her brother's guidance, Tara started to prepare for the ACT in order to apply for Brigham Young University. Tara's unconventional homeschooling failed her as she did not get a high enough score for BYU. However, her scores were not so bad, and that gave her the confidence to try again. She passed on her second try with flying colors and got the offer from BYU. It was not easy for Tara to choose between family and school. Though she longed to run away, the world beyond the mountains was full of uncertainty and that frightened her. Finally, she chose to overcome her fear and go to BYU. It was a brave and significant step for her to make and the start of her journey into the real world. Today we are just sharing limited content. To unlock more key insights of world-class bestseller, please download our app. Just search for Bookey at Apple Store or Google Play. Get your free mind snack now.